Shalom, me homies. You guys got some of this laying around? You're going to need it for toilet paper, for kindling for a fire, for insulation for a wall, for stuffing for a mattress. Yeah, we're going to need this for that, for the truth, for life, to stay alive. That's how this actually, truly, honestly, actually supports life. Okay? When we're engaging with life, honestly. That's the utility of this piece of paper right here. And most people that have any money don't even have it in this form anymore. They have it as zeros and one on a computer screen. Okay? And in that form, it is worth even less insofar as its ability to actually support life when faced with the truth after this lie, this matrix has crumbled, this lie, this matrix, which runs on this lie. As we use this now, we use it as a lie to support a lie. It is our God. Okay, that's the lie. That this is what is responsible for meeting all of our needs. This is a lie that we put in between us and the truth, God. Everything that is around us, everything that we take in to support our lives, food, water, air, the shelter that keeps us warm and dry, all of that comes from and is made up of things that were given to us by our God as a gift. Right? And if we were interacting honestly and engaging honestly with life, we wouldn't need this. But you need this when you're engaging dishonestly with life. And why in the world would we ever do that? Because we want our own way. And the people that came up with this concept, that run the banks that print all this, discovered that this is a perfect chain and a lock for slaves. Something for slaves to chase after. Okay? And there's a whole world, a whole matrix that's set up around getting you to fall in love with your slavery and make you believe that it is responsible for anything you have. Okay? It's a crutch. It's a cudgel. It's a lie used to infantilize and enslave you. To take away the freedom that is your birthright, that God gave you. A freedom that you can only know when you engage with life honestly. And honestly, this is toilet paper. It's true. The most hopelessly enslaved among us currently, we believe, are people that we should be looking up to. People that got this, the most of this. Okay? Because this allows them to do whatever they want whenever they want. And we think that's what we should be aiming for. Because we've all fallen in love with our ego. And that's what the ego wants. The ego wants what it wants when it wants it. But a child of God, submitted and surrendered to God, wants what God wants. And God doesn't need this lie. God just is everything. And we're about to be faced with that. Having lived in a world full of lies, become dependent upon lies, become identified and attached to lies that are all going away, guys. So please, start weaning yourself off of this. Start developing the ears to hear and the eyes to see the truth. Start developing the discipline to engage with life honestly, because it does take discipline. It takes strength. It takes courage. All of these things, which in most people have not been developed, because when you depend upon a lie and you have a bunch of a lie sitting in your bank account, you don't need to be honest. That's what this allows you. This allows you to tell as many lies as you want. Okay, you can be honest if you want, but you don't have to. That's the point. If you have enough of this, you can have your way. But this is going away, so it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter how powerful you are in, how much power you have in this matrix, because the matrix is going away. Okay? Everything that we know, reality as we know it, is going away. Now, what's about to happen is, see, the history of humanity as we know it, the history of our civilization, is just what's been going on is one manufactured crisis, one manufactured war after another, the outcome of which is always that we end up with less freedoms for the sake of our safety, for our own good, right? And so what's about to happen is some crisis, undoubtedly, some crisis, some war. Most likely, we're going to experience a famine, an energy shortage, a crisis, all of this shit at the Strait of Hormuz that's impacting the price of oil, the price of fertilizer that we need to grow our food. All of that, it's manufactured. Okay, it's gonna kill a lot of the population off because they don't need as many of us anymore to run the matrix, because it's all going down, it's all changing. We're about to have a reset. And in the reset, mostly robots are going to be doing all the manual type labor. Maybe not manual labor, but because most of us don't do manual labor, but most of the labor that humans do now is going to be done by robots. So they don't need as many of us. So they're killing us off. COVID was part of that. The energy shortage and the food shortage is going to be part of that. They're spreading diseases through insects like ticks and mosquitoes. The powers and principalities, okay, working through corrupted men and women who have powerful positions in this world. I dropped my lie. Okay, so at the end of all of the crisis, like on the other side of it, money's not going to be a thing, okay? And you're going to have a lot less power if you decide to stick around and participate in this system. And by participate, I mean if you decide to give your life over to the beast. Okay? There will be no freedom left. Like, we have some degrees of freedom left right now. Okay, and you can use that little bit of freedom you have left to decide to walk away, because the door to the prison cell has always been unlocked, okay? We've just been so dumbed down and groomed and filled with fear that we don't even dare to try to step out, because we're in love with our cell. We're in love with our slavery and the comfort that it provides us. So, but the cell that you are in, okay, your house, your job, your city, it's about to get smaller, and that cell is going to become this. Like, people are going to be locked in here. They're going to try to upload people's consciousness into the cloud. They're going to try to merge humans with machinery, with robots, transhumanism. Okay, that's what's coming, guys. That's the next cell block. And you won't even know it. Like, if you decide to go that way and take that route and become a transhuman cyborg, you'll believe you're free. Okay, you'll just be constantly flooded with dopamine, and they'll know all the ways to hit and light up your brain, okay, to make you a happy little slave. And for some people that might sound great, but that's what's coming. And you don't need this anymore, because you'll be in a pod. Like, I don't know what it's actually going to look like, but it's hell. It's what's coming is hell. And people will fall in love with hell just like they've fallen in love with slavery. But the point of all this is get out while you can, right? And what are you going to need to survive on the outside of all this? Well, you're surrounded by paradise. Like, we've been surrounded by paradise all along. Food is everywhere around you, but people don't even know about plants or animals or life, because they've become identified with the lie and engaging with the lie, man's matrix. They've become completely divorced from their life source, their Mother Earth, Gaia. Okay. So start learning about the plants and animals around you, the real world that God made, and start forming relationships with people who have land, who have real resources, who have water and the ability to grow food, because that's the only way you're going to actually survive if you decide that you don't want to go to hell by uploading your consciousness into the cloud and merging with a robot. Okay, these are the options that are coming. And if you don't start acting now, by building a bridge and a segue into freedom, into the real world, back into Eden, into the kingdom, if you don't start building that bridge now, you're going to find yourself in a position where you feel like you don't have any option. Because the driver is to stay alive, right? And if you've not built a way out, and it comes down to it, and they say, take this chip or you're cut off, you can't buy, sell, or trade. Well, then you say, oh, well, I don't have a way to grow food or get water or have shelter. Well, you better do that now, because if you don't, you'll most likely decide to merge with machinery and upload your consciousness and live in a dystopia hell forever and ever and ever, because you are an eternal being, and the game is to trap you in this matter, in a silicone chip, and use you as a battery source for a beast, for a lie, for the father of lies, the egregore of our egos. We made this mess when we fell away from God, when we used our free will to do our own thing. This is where that road is led. This sounds like the ramblings of a mad woman, guilty. I lost my mind and found my heart a long time ago. Well, 4 years ago. But I was always trying real hard to lose it, to let it go. And there's a lot of people who want to let it go. They want to lose it all because they know what they have is a lie and a trap. But they're scared because they don't know. It's uncertain what happens when they let go. Well, what happens is God catches you. Okay? That's what happens. So, yeah, toilet paper, kindling. That's the truth of what these dollar bills really are, insofar as their ability to support life, actually. I've gotten to a point where I avoid people who are chasing money. I avoid people who are in love with money because they're in love with a lie. Well, I know the more money a person desires and wants, what that tells me is they're living in fear. They don't know who they are, and they're serving their ego. There's a right amount of money to have in this world. It's true that currently we all do need a certain amount of money because of the way things are set up. We're enmeshed and insinuated in this matrix. Okay, and you need a little bit of money to get gas in your car to get to work and to get food in your belly to stay alive, right? But beyond that, that's what's real. That's the gift, is to be alive. Anything more than that is serving the lie that is your ego. You know, the more money you have, the fancier clothes you can buy, you know, the prettier you can look, the more attractive you can look. That's all charm. That's all, that's a lie. Like, real beauty doesn't need any of that. Real beauty just shines forth through you. It's health, right? But what I'm saying is money allows you to serve your ego. Okay? And if you submit to God, you murder the ego, and you become a free person. And you don't need a bunch of money to serve the ego anymore. You don't need a lie to serve a lie. Right? Because you're not doing that anymore. And it's all going to be taken away from you soon. Okay? And if you haven't set up an alternative, you're going to be in a world of trouble. So find the real people, the people who are living for truth and God and love, and who don't give a shit about money, but still meet their responsibilities, you know? Because I also avoid people who are derelicts. Meaning people who don't do their part, who just don't give a shit, who are always looking for handouts. I avoid those people too, but I see them as one and the same. Insofar as both of these kinds of people are serving a lie. They're both serving their ego. People who aren't doing any of their work to meet their needs, who are just looking for a handout all the time, they're serving their ego. Their ego thinks that they don't have to do anything, that they shouldn't have to. The people who have all the money, same thing. They need all that money because they don't want to do the work. They want to throw money at everybody else to get them to do the work for them. You see? Look for the people who are content with just enough so that they can be alive and experience this gift. The people that want to do the right thing. Look for those people and build a bridge with those people. Find food and water and shelter with those people, because we're all going to need it.